Welcome, everybody. My name is Jennifer Hines, and I am very excited to be introducing the special guest that we have for today's session. Today, we're going to be talking about food addiction and why willpower is not the focus. We are very fortunate to have a very special guest, Dr. Vera Tarman, joining us today.
Thank you, Jennifer. My name is Dr. Vera Tarman. Some of you may know me. Some of you may have heard this talk already. I hope you'll still learn something new. What I want to talk about is the mechanics of food addiction, but with the vantage point or the focus of why willpower is not the answer. Because, of course, many of us who have come into the field of struggling with our eating have found that willpower works really well for the first couple of days, and then maybe if it's the first time around, maybe even 3 or 4 months, but eventually power of willpower gets less and less and less until it's like it lasts a half a day and then you're done. First of all, what is food addiction? How do I know if I'm a food addict? And then why is food addiction a problem? And it essentially because willpower does not work. And then what is the treatment? Acknowledging that willpower doesn't work. This is a spectrum of overeating. It's eating as well, but we're interested in the overeating piece. And so this is targeted not to people who deal with obesity. If you can identify with having a struggle with eating in some way, then this would be your talk. It actually does not have much to do with obesity, except that can be one of the consequences. So this is its own animal, as it were. It's basically an addiction focus. The idea of hunger, and that when you're full, you stop. That's normal eating. And then there's what I consider emotional eating. You use food as a way of dealing with emotion. And then we have the food addiction platform, which is what I'm presenting today. We could see this as this is essentially tolerance and addiction developing into stages of food addiction. Stage 1, which is you have the occasional treat. Like I said, if we could stay here, great, but a lot of people don't. Cravings begin. This is the dopamine getting larger. You lose the control. No more willpower here. You're feeling terrible about yourself. Forget the willpower. That's been left in the dust. And then now you're dependent and you don't even bother with the willpower. You just need food to feel better, because otherwise, what's the point? So those are the stages of food addiction, ending up with the food addiction piece, because we're saying that even if you're a normal eater and even if you're feeling stressed or not stressed, if you eat particular foods, usually foods that the processed food industry has put into our environment, it becomes very hard to say no, even if you're a normal eater, because it's their job to make you always eat more than just one. The essence of what is any addiction at all, which we can then apply to food addiction. Are you obsessed? Do you develop a tolerance, which means you need more to get the same effect? Are you getting impairment and still using despite the consequences? And I could say yes to all of these things. Then I could say I'm an addict. And similarly, we can do that with foods. But very few people will say that about bananas and strawberries, even though they're sweet. You don't usually develop a tolerance and become obsessed by them. So it's the drug foods, as it were. That's what we call it in our world. I just want to make a nod to the whole idea of ultra-processed food as being the culprit. It's not just sugar that's the problem. It's the ultra-processing of foods. And because of that, we're also talking about ultra-processed fats and ultra-processed proteins. Keto bars, for example. I mean, this is ultra processed, just maybe not as addictive as a Snickers bar, but it's still pretty addictive. Culprit of the ultra processed foods, which are the most addictive, of course. Chocolate would be number 1, not a surprise. Those are in the top 5 of the ultra processed, because everything has been processed, the cheese and the fat and the sugar and the carbohydrates. What's the best treatment? Abstinence of sugar and refined carbs. That's a lifestyle change. Abstinence of sugar and refined carbs. Very hard to do in today's society, and we could talk endlessly about the ways to do that. Food addiction may not even be able to eat artificial sweeteners or grains or dairy. They find them too triggering. Some people will have to portion control because they just don't know when they're full or hungry. I think the main thing is that you have to use addiction recovery tools. Once you've stopped the drug, in whatever way you do that, through a food addiction diet or a food plan or through medications and surgery, you want to now use tools to stay stopped. And there's all sorts of tools like relapse prevention and support.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Tarman. This was an excellent session, and I think really engaging, really great information shared. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today, and we look forward to seeing you again on June the 10th.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.